Hi, huge movie fanatic Nate reporting from the lake, reporting on the water to review a movie that takes place on the water. I'm here to review Waterworld. The future. The polar ice caps have melted, covering the earth with water. Those who survive have adapted to a new world. Waterworld. Now, this movie came out, I believe, in the summer of 1995. I was working at Suncoast, and me and a couple of coworkers, this was kind of rare. I did it twice throughout my Suncoast years. Me and a couple of coworkers, we almost have closed together. And after we closed, we all packed in one of their cars, because I didn't drive yet, and went over to a theater which was really close by, which is now gone, to see Waterworld. I think it was opening day. And this is 2 years into DTS, and a big high-profile movie like this obviously, was in DTS and everything, and I was so disappointed because whoever they had operating the projector, it wasn't DTS. It was just the film sound. So here we paid probably top dollar because it was at night, opening day, at a theater that should have been playing DTS sound in 1995, and one of the summer's biggest high-profile movies, and it was just freaking 2-channel film surround shit. And plus, there was also the matting or whatever on the actual projection was all fucked up, and you could see it was almost like window boxed inside the screen. It was a whole, if it would have been now, I would have complained on the way out. But when I was that age, I was more of a pussy. So I didn't say shit, but if it had been now, I would complain. So, Waterworld. It's kind of a cool idea in a way, sort of. So I can't remember what I thought of it at the time. I was probably disappointed. It's never a good idea to have your biggest action battle in the middle, first half of the movie, quite frankly. You want to try to save it if possible for the end. That's one of my biggest complaints with the movie, the end. The biggest action thing is in the first half of the movie. And, I like the movie because I like summer and I like the water and I like, sun-baked bodies, and I like being in the sun on the water. And so it's a very beautiful movie, and the Blu-ray I have, the Blu-ray's pretty beautiful. The Blu-ray's pretty blue, with all the blue ocean photography and stuff. So I like the movie for simply being in an environment that I enjoy watching, in water and sun-baked bodies and all this kind of stuff. I'm not a fan of the Road Warrior movies, and obviously the Waterworld is a Road Warrior on the water. And I'm not a fan of the rat tattered production design clothes that people wear, and draped cloths hanging over genitals and all this kind of stuff. I don't like that kind of Road Warrior production design. One thing I guess I do kind of like is the Road Warrior design in terms of the old revamped jet skis and some of the motorized vehicles and stuff are kind of cool. And Kevin Costner's freaking, I can't even remember what his name is. I don't think he has a name, right? He's just the Mariner or whatever, so he doesn't have a name, which is kind of cool. And what I was going to say is his boat is awesome. His boat's awesome in the very beginning, how we see it transform. And the first thing that, I kind of like the opening and the big helicopter sweeping shot, coming down into it. And the first thing we see is the Kevin Costner pissing into a container, okay? And at first you're like, okay, why can't he, he's that conscious, world conscious, he's that green or blue, I should say. Because in Waterworld, you're not green, you're blue-minded, because there is no green. And he's out in the middle of Waterworld, and he's pissing in a thing, and you're like, okay, what the? And a couple moments later, you realize that he's pissing in it, so he can pour it into his little man-made or Mariner-made device that siphons the water out of his piss. And it's really cool because they do it in one shot. So you see that, which is not real piss, but you see the presumed piss go into the thing, and then he dumps it in there and he's like siphoning it, and it comes out of a thing and he's like drinks it. And you know, the first thing that comes to mind after that is like, if you have a device that can siphon the water out of piss, surely it can siphon the water out of salt water. You know, I think that would be actually less difficult to siphon the salt out of water, out of salt water. So first off, that's just, in my opinion, a major blunder. It's just like, oh man, give me a break. You know, he probably never even thought to try it on the salt water. So that's how the movie starts, and the end. No, I'm just kidding. But then we have a kind of a cool thing where we don't really know where he dived under, and we don't really know, he set a timer, and we don't really know how he dived, and we'll find out later. But so we have someone who's gonna basically steal the little whatever fruit off his little trees growing, and that's all he was gonna steal, really, ain't it? So then we have right at the beginning, we have him come into contact with this goofball who's gonna steal from him, and right at the beginning, it's a kind of a cool opening. We see him start up his super boat, which I don't know how he, you know, built or came across that, but whatever. That's irrelevant. Starts up his super boat. Oh, we get to see the smokers as well. So the beginning starts off with a kind of cool mini action scene. I don't know if there's wind. If there's wind, I apologize. That's what it's like in the Waterworld, or on the water. Sometimes you get wind. Nothing I can do about it. So if there's wind, bear with me. So I'm gonna go 3 stars overall with Waterworld. Although I think it was pretty much a failure, I think, at the box office. And partially rightfully so. I just think, you know, you shouldn't have the biggest action scene in the first half of the movie. And to be honest, that little girl annoyed me, and the whole map on her back, and the map to dry land. And obviously you got to have some kind of for these big high-profile summer movies, they always have to have some kind of a driving force. You always have a goal for something. You can't just, you know, I'd like to have like I don't watch or necessarily like Seinfeld, but just like a summer big high-profile Michael Bay. Of course, every Michael Bay movie is about nothing, but high-profile summer movie that's just like no direction. Well, I guess that's what every movie is now. But whatever, you know, just instead of this like goal, just have a movie that exists, and it's like things happen, and oh, okay, we gotta adjust our whatever to fit the events, or I don't know. I guess I just get sick of these movies with a direction and a goal to accomplish and stuff, because obviously you know they're going to accomplish it. There's no, you know. But I guess I only know that because I'm older and jaded now. Maybe when I was a kid I wouldn't have known. I don't know. Whatever. But the whole dry land aspect, and you know, one thing that was cool is that Kevin Costner's character was like which I think would happen over time. Probably not. Well, we don't know how far into the future this is, so it would happen over time. If the whole world became water, mankind the ones that survive would slowly evolve over. It'd take forever. They would end up starting to get webbed hands and webbed feet, and they would develop gills over a great period of time. So that was a really cool point, I thought, was the fact that Kevin Costner had gills and could breathe underwater and webbed feet and stuff. So I thought that was a cool point, which many people might think is stupid. I think is kind of cool. The whole dryland thing, and Enola, I think is the girl's name. She just annoys me, and the whole crayons thing, and taking the crayons, and ha ha ha. You know, 3 stars just for an overall enjoyable experience. Oh, Dennis Hopper. You know, Dennis Hopper's great, and sun-baked Dennis Hopper, bald head and stuff, and the eye patch. Oh, the eye patch comes up later. I gotta tell you, that boat with the guns, them huge artillery guns and stuff, and the Asian kids waving the flags and all that stuff. I like the score. That big action scene is really a great action scene. So for me, you know, if you disagree, that's fine, that's your right, but it's also my right to give Waterworld 3 stars and enjoy it more or less. I watched it over and over last year. and I haven't really watched it. I mean, I haven't watched it this year, and I should probably watch it before the water season's over. But this summer has been kind of, I don't know, not so summery in the sense of like a lot of sunny days and stuff, so I just haven't felt as Waterworldy. But thank you very much for watching. I think that pretty much covers it, Waterworld. Oh yeah, look very closely at the pilot of that plane, and you will discover it is none other than Jack Black. Before he was anything at all, I think. I don't know, you know, I'm not necessarily a fan, but I don't know anything about his career. I don't know what the hell his first movie was, but look for Jack Black's appearance in Waterworld, which is exactly like 10 years before he would star in King Kong. So he went a long way from Waterworld to King Kong. So thank you very much for watching. This is Huge Movie Fanatic Nate reporting on the water for a review of Waterworld. I mean, I can't think of anything cooler than that. Thanks for watching.